But do you have the right mix of guys is what we're going to find out for Cleveland this year. If it doesn't work out and if they lose in like the conference finals or before that, I think that they probably shake up one or two of Darius Garland, Jared Allen. And I know Kenny doesn't want to get rid of Jared Allen because that's his guy, going back to his Nets days from when I covered them. The Knicks, team that I'm covering very closely. I want to toss this to you first. What do you think of this team?
They are perfectly borderline between actual contenders and kind of contenders. I, too, am a lifelong New Yorker. However, I would put them closer to kind of contenders than actual contenders. They are de facto actually a contender because of the weak Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
However, I do think the Cavaliers are definitely a step above them if healthy, which I think is put in quotes for every team.
Sure.
But they are, where are they in win totals? They are
52?
fifth best in win totals.
52.5.
They finished last season with the 10th overall ranked power rated team by the market, which is like game to game. Are you going to be favorited versus this team on a neutral court? I think there's some issues with this team in a playoff format. Obviously, they've gained some depth, which should help, but it's a bit redundant in their style of attack. And so, like, how many kind of games can you grind out, series can you win out like that? And then if they do get to the finals, whether that's the Thunder, whether that's Denver, whether that's the Clippers, whether that's the Wolves, whether that's
Wolves, Houston,
the Lakers, Houston, they're underdogs against all of them, even potentially with home court. So I have them closer to kind of contenders, but I understand they're actual contenders because so many people are coming into the season hurt in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, there's in the East, to me, a clear tier 1 set of teams, and it's just the Knicks and the Cavs. So by default, and I guess we'll loop the Cavs into this because I just mentioned them. The Knicks and Cavs, I think, go in actual contenders. I do agree both teams are flawed. I thought if they played each other last year in the playoffs that Cleveland would beat them. I think this Knicks team is better, and maybe they'll be better coached. I don't know, because Mike Brown has to prove that he's right for this team. I think philosophically, him playing depth, him potentially giving young guys a chance, him shaving off minutes for guys, going double big. I think these are all things that philosophically make sense. I do have some concerns about, among other things, there are health concerns. Mitchell Robinson's going to start. Now, he's not going to play big minutes. He'll play in shifts. I don't know if he'll play more than low to mid 20s in terms of minutes per game, but he's not going to play all 82. It's not going to happen. Karl-Anthony Towns also has an injury history. Jalen Brunson's just a concern for me every season because of the way he plays. It's herky-jerky. It's high contact. It's a lot of usage, and it's still going to be a good amount of usage, although maybe a little bit less so in this offense this season. And he needs to be healthy in the spring. Like, he has to be healthy in the spring or you have no shot. Mikal Bridges, I think last year his struggles were a bit overstated. I do think he should slot into this team more comfortably. He needs to get to the line, though, and stop fading away at every turn. And OG Anunoby, he's your best defender, and I think pretty easily. He also, he was very healthy last year. He needs to do that again. Josh Hart's playing all year with a finger injury. He already said it. Looks like that's why he'll come off the bench. It makes more sense. I like this team. I do have concerns. I have concerns about depth as far as bigs. They went horny for guards this year in the offseason. Like, they went out and got Brogdon. They got Garrison Matthews. They got Landry Shamet back as far Jordan as Clarkson. trying to fill out the last roster spot. And I'm like, okay, if you're going double big, you just have Ariel Hawk-Porty.
And Gershon.
He's not a center, though. I think just
he could play some of those and offer some different
I
lineups. Yeah,
I like
he
Gershon
definitely played
Yabusele,
some
but
center last year for the 76ers. I thought that was a really good signing for them.
me too. No, I like the Clarkson signing too, but
Yeah,
I have some concerns. But Mark, I would have more concerns if they were in a different season. I think they're clearly a top 2 team. Now, we'll talk about Orlando, but in a playoff series, I mean, you could make the case if you
I
wanted to. You could say Jaden Ivey healthy. Maybe the Pistons actually navigate that one, given how close some of those games were. Maybe.
sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So some of those games where the Pistons outright should have won and gave it away more than the Knicks won it. Um, I would also go to say it's like obviously there's a lot of Giannis Knicks talk. If that does happen mid-season, I really don't know how much better that makes the Knicks in this season. Besides, they just have a absolute killer in the playoffs. But like the dominant ball handling between Brunson and Giannis is not really an ideal fit.
Yeah.
Brunson's not your spacer catch and shoot player. They're two half court ISO players where they could get beaten by I think they really would get beaten by the teams in the West who have more ways to attack, but it would be a slog fest against playing against the Knicks in the Eastern Conference. Like a team
Yeah.
like last year's Pacers, which are space, shoot, run, might just get so hot that the Knicks can't do anything about it.
And could that team be Cleveland, who we're going to talk about now?
Yeah, Cleveland's a definite contender.
For sure. I still think a matchup problem for a lot of different teams. I look, they're in the Pacers series. I think what people were missing was injuries did impact that. I don't know if healthy they win that series, given the tear that Indy was on. But DeAndre Hunter missed a game. There was a game where they missed 3 of their 5 best players because Hunter was out, Garland was out, Mobley was out. Garland was compromised basically the entire playoffs, as we've learned, and is compromised to begin this season. So that's a little worrisome. That being said, Cleveland's still going to be, I think, a regular season wagon. They'll win a lot of games. Donovan Mitchell's awesome. I think he's a fringe MVP candidate. Like, this is a really good team, and I think they're really well coached. I think they need better depth too. Maybe they get somebody at some point, but we'll see.
They need Strus to be healthy. They need Dean Wade to be healthy. They need Garland to be healthy. But the biggest thing the Cavaliers can rely on is internal development from Evan Mobley, and that he also might be I think fringe NBA candidate, MVP candidate is a mixed bag term because there's really just 4 MVP candidates in the NBA, and maybe Wemby the 5th if something crazy happens.
Fringe to me means you could get on the ballot. That's what that means.
Yes. So that's why I was going to change the terminology to fringe first team All NBA player.
Sure. Has Donovan Mitchell been first team All NBA already?
Was he last year?
I'm looking this up. I think he was last year. First team, yeah. He's been first team and he's been second team.
Deserved so last year for sure.
Yeah. So he's a first team. You listen, if we end the regular season and Evan Mobley is like, oh, this is definitively a top 10 player, that's like that
right.
Changes things, because if Evan Mobley can be like he was getting like Tim Duncan and Kevin Garnett comparisons coming out of USC. I don't know if he'll be that, but look,
could they be a Lowry marketing team? Like, could it be Jared Allen and pieces, and it's bring back Lowry as flanked to Evan Mobley, and when you put Evan Mobley at the center, which they did against the Celtics in that series, 2 years ago, and Evan Mobley was amazing for those few games.
Now, if you recall, they did do this before because they had Lauri Markkanen for that 1 year.
Yeah.
It's like,
but he wasn't
a year. But he
didn't blossom like this. You didn't have Donovan at the time either.
You didn't have Kenny, which I think is the
that
key.
As well too. Also, maybe you bring back like a Walker Kessler type, so you still have some de facto double big, sort of extra rim protection. Huh. So yeah, I don't really know what the Cavs have stockpiled, but like that's a situation that I would be interested in.
Their cap is fucked. So they don't have a ton of flexibility.
Is it Garland? Is it Garland who goes? And the Jazz shut him down for the season and bring him back healthy? Give us Collier,
Conspiratorial.
Kessler, marketing.
Yeah. I mean, they're a second apron team, so they have severe restrictions.
Yeah.
But they have to be
play
because
around trade machine.
They have to be because Evan Mobley won Defensive Player of the Year and got a bump. But yeah, I mean, I think if it's even possible to be a Laurie team, that's something that they could look into, because my concern with Cleveland is, do you have the right four? Because you have two small guards and two bigs, neither of whom are knockdown shooters, although Evan Mobley's shot is coming along, and I think will take another step this year. But because Kenny Atkinson turned Al Horford and Brook Lopez into 3-point shooters, and I wrote about all the reasons why he'll turn Evan Mobley into one, and he was a much better one last year on more volume. I think even more volume can come this year. But do you have the right mix of guys is what we're going to find out for Cleveland this year. If it doesn't work out, and if they lose in like the conference finals or before that, I think that they probably shake up one or two of Darius Garland, Jared Allen. And I know Kenny doesn't want to get rid of Jared Allen because that's his guy, going back to his Nets days from when I covered them. But these are the top four teams so far that we've talked about. Let's get to Detroit.